boats, I'll be able to call it a little better for you. Difficult, especially right now with the sun in the background and not being able to see numbers on the boats. But a pair of younger eyes up behind me and people that watch outboards a lot definitely helps. Well, that appears to be Carson Kelly out front. Got a good race for third, side by side. Third and fourth going into the first turn. That is the 91, and I know that's Kayla Huff. 5 out, 5 started, 5 running. Always good. As I say, we've got a number of classes running in outboards, and certain ones are going to run both days or one day, and then the others will step in and take that spot. So this will be the end of their weekend with us. They will see the same people out there, probably a lot of the same boats, but they'll have different engine configurations. All right, white flag, one more lap to go. And these folks are running on a 3-minute warm-up. All right, first and second passed. Here comes third. And we got a change in, actually not a change in order, just they've spread out a little bit. Third's moved ahead, got the advantage at this point. Staying tight on the buoys down there. All right. Kayla Huff getting her white flag. Kayla coming across from she's a Sport C driver for the most part, but she stepped into outboards. She's also doing another tunnel, doing a 45. As Carson comes across to get his win. Second place right now. Nice run. Definitely a nice run for all these folks. And I just hear that that was not a record.
Return to home.
All right, about a second a lap off of getting a record there. And it's, it's difficult to break records. You have to figure out little things. Water conditions need to be exact. And it's maybe just a little bit rough for that for outboards. Inboards, we still got good water conditions. As we were saying it a little before 7 this morning, standing beside the lake. Let's go now, because it was gorgeous, just dead flat. Could really turn some great speed. Bigger boats can run on a little rougher water to a certain extent. Once the wind gets up to a point where you got white caps, then we're done. But we're all right.
Landing.
Green flag on the course. J Hydro. And you will see these same folks a little bit later with J Runabout. Some real good racing yesterday in this. 107 R Colby Wyant. 37 R Bowden Whitmer. 5R Mason McGregor. 47 R Asher Kelly. 322 R John Manka. 25 R Ryder Burks, and X Sawyer Moen. Had 3 that did not make the call this weekend that were registered.
Home point updated.
Cassidy boys are not here. I heard something about a truck. I'm not sure what, but well, as you can see, we made it pretty clear we wanted to get going this morning.
Home point
and
updated.
So far, that's where we're at. So we'll keep this going, try and get them in and out of the water, get their heats in. 3 minutes, 4 laps, excuse me. 3-minute warm-up, 4 laps. And then we'll move on to our next class of outboard. And when the outboards are done, then we will commence Sunday's schedule. And Sunday's schedule will be the same as yesterday afternoon, with one exception, and that is the outboard classes did change from OSY 400 to 20 SS and so on. So we'll go through that as we go through the rest of our program today. We'll do that, and then we'll look at attrition, all of the other things that transpire. We've had a number of boats that are broken, the 45 and the 1 liter class, and some others are done for the weekend. Shady Lady is done. They lost studs that were in the valve covers on one side, and not any way of really fixing it here last night. So when they break off like they did, it takes a little bit of precision machining to get out those would say 322. Well, I guess if you're going to do it right, you do it right. We disqualification on the 322. John Manka got a lane infraction in the turn, and then he jumped the gun. So, hey, Sunday wasn't his day. So, you know, stuff happens. What can I say? All right. We have 2, 4, 5, looks like 6 up the back stretch. Yep. One has been disqualified already. That is the 322R. John Manka out of Seattle, Washington. Those are hard lessons to learn, but it's all part of racing. We have rules. If you don't obey the rules, then there are consequences. So, unfortunately, there are consequences. This is your boat racing future right here, a good part of it. Not all of it, because we've got a lot of other young folks, some a little bit older, some considerably older, who are a whole lot younger than yours truly, but that would be the future. Those are the folks that are going to take us into the next few decades with racing, be your leaders, your drivers, your builders, engine folks, all of those things. These are the folks that will make it happen. And I know we had a little award for Carson Kelly this morning for his efforts, helping not only himself, his dad, and others in the pits, but some of our race officials with unloading vehicles and doing some things down there Friday. And the kids, I heard all of them were down at the lakeshore last night later and having a ball, and very polite to everyone, and that's always an important thing. And I know as a parent, anytime you hear that you've done a nice job raising your children, which I always used to look at people and wonder when they said that about my boys, they're polite, they do things they're asked to do, and a lot of times without asking. But I said, have you seen them at home? Because it's normally a different story there. The dynamic is different at home. It's mom and dad. And as boys do with their dads, so many times they've got to push back and show that they're men too, even when they're not there yet. I get it. Been there, done it. Both sides. Nice little hop for our third place boat as we come across the start-finish line here for start of lap 2, I think it is. Got everybody, got second through fifth are all right together there in a little bunch. First is out by himself, and then we got two that are behind the pack there. And most likely a lot of that has to do with experience. It can be a little intimidating to step into something like this. But the neat thing is, everybody's here to help. The other kids will help. The adults will help with trying to help with setups and things. If you're interested, and I will say this a few times today, pnba.org or apba.org are two locations to go to for information. If you like outboards and strictly outboards, SOA out of Seattle, club that's been around for Jan Shaw. How many years SOA been around? It's a whole long time. Okay. For SOA? Okay. Well, SOA has been around 100 years next year. That's a long time. APBA has been around longer than that. That's over 100 years now. So, it's a long time. PNBRA is new. Not that anything about inboarding is new. There are new things, but PNBRA is about 3 years old now. And a combination of three clubs: Seattle Inboard, Tacoma Inboard, and Seattle Dragon Ski. So, I've got to jump up here and get a piece of paper. We have to watch out for one another here. And with the breeze we have, we do have papers go here and there. But if you're interested in being a part of this, whether you're an owner, driver, whatever, volunteers, we actually have a young lady up here with us this weekend that's learning how to be a scorer. And that's a true blessing. So please come and join us. If you can find one of the officials that are here at the site, you can talk to them, give them contact information, what you'd like to be involved in. We'll try and help you out. The last thing we want to do is discourage somebody from being involved in this, because it is a lot of fun. It is a huge family. This is your final position on the course right now, 6th place. And as you can hear, there's just not the speed there. And that's okay. I've been in that spot before. Not in a kneeler like that, but in other race boats. Back marker. And we need everybody. You know, you don't need to be Kip Brown or Corey Peabody, some of the other extremely good drivers we have out here, or in the other classes like Unlimiteds and so many of the outboard racers we have. You don't have to be that good. You need to be proficient and do the right things and not cause issues, but you can have fun without winning. I am a testament to that. I've stayed in this even after I didn't have a stellar career as a driver. And I did place as high as number 3 in the nation in Mod 100. I think in OZ as well back in the day. But, you know, it wasn't because I was fast. I was always there. I always finished. But you know what? It was fun. I enjoyed my time in the seat. And when I retired from that, continue running my business or businesses, because we've had a couple over the years. But, you know, I had a farm, a family, a lot of boat work I was doing, even when I retired and was just doing masonry work at that point, you know, stone and brick work. I had always come home Monday night, and there was normally some kind of project sitting in front of the shop, whether I knew it was going to be there or not. So I was able to stay involved and had the good fortune of working on a lot of boats over a lot of years with a number of different people, starting out with the late Bob Gillum, Bob Miller. Met Fred Leland way back then, and had a career with him, not only doing masonry but doing boat racing. Was with him with the first Unlimited and did part of the season on the circuit, and that told me for sure I didn't want to do that when we were sleeping in the back of a hauler in Detroit. Not my favorite, but it was a different time and a different place. Your last finisher here, and hopefully they make that hard left and head back to the pit, or maybe we're out of the other pit area. I think we're here in C-Mod Hydro next. All right. 3 more heats, and we have the War Canoes. Then 1 leader. War Canoes will start off our actual Sunday program. And if you've been here in the past, you were here yesterday, you know how fun these War Canoes are to watch. Some of the shenanigans that were going on out there yesterday in that second heat, it was fun to watch. They really were, you know, they were sneaking in and diving in behind the other boats and getting the inside lane. All right. Just communication with the referee and War Canoes and all right. Just listening a little bit of radio chatter about how they want the War Canoes to try and all right. See Stock Hydro. I will be right back with you. All right, you can see from the size of the boats, the speed that they're traveling. These are definitely bigger boats. They're faster boats. They're bigger engines. And that is the natural progression in this. What you normally will see is as a 9-year-old, you start out in J Hydro or J Runabout. Then you can progress into the A category, AXH, AXR. And after that, and you get proficient, you have to be a certain age. Excuse me. You can move on up and run bigger classes, and that's what we all hope for from our young folks. And unfortunately, I'm saddened that we don't have our new folks in boats any longer. They did that at Silver Lake, Washington, which is down by Eatonville. Unfortunately, because of public pressure, they're not there anymore. But no, that's not a mess. That's good racing there. I know. Kelsey's saying keep an eye on it because it's a mess, and I'm going, well, this is fun. This is fun. 5. Good start. Good start. All right. They were definitely behind the line, so we won't have to worry about that. Oh, love listening to our scorers. That's all right. Everybody pretty close up here together at the front, and then we have one straggler back, and I don't know if they're headed to the pit. I'm guessing they're going back to the pits on the other side. You got a Donnybrook up front, and we have a pass for the lead. Third place is kind of opened up a little bit on fourth, and fifth is back a bit farther yet. All right, and the boat on the back chute has gone back to the pits. Well, one thing is we got the air conditioning going. Nice breeze going. a sudden, the fourth place boat just took off like a shot up the back chute. Pulled him to third and is pulling away. First place coming across right now, your leader. Second in the north turn, and the third place boat gaining quickly. Don't know that they can pass, but making up a lot of ground. They're starting their final lap as they come down. First place is headed into their final lap right now. Halfway through turn one down there. Now, got an issue. Something's going on, overheating the engine or something. That was the one that went up the back chute so fast. Obviously, whatever's going on is not resolved, and probably not going to be resolved out here. All right. Well, we got a close one here, and the boat that was in front did get across just barely before the other two caught him.
Landing.
All right. Decision has been made by the outboarders that they are not going to run the last of their classes that were left from yesterday. Water's a little sketchy for them. So next thing up will be war canoes and then one leader.
Home point updated.
All right. While we have a moment, I want to say a thank you for all of our sponsors. First and foremost, on our sponsors, Jim Codling and family, a very generous donation. Without them, this didn't, it just wasn't going to happen. So thank you, Jim Codling, for all you're doing, and you're here as one of our referees, sitting up there with the with all the drone footage, watching our turns and making judgment calls from up there. Glad to have you a part of that. All right. KB Marine, DA Internation, WFO Motorsports, Digital Rooster Tails, Harm, the Hydroplane and Race Boat Museum, Chalet Bowl, Bartell's Family Racing, Chris Kenner Racing Specialties, 2B Mobile Services. My paperwork is not cooperating. Bob Sr., Bob, a part of Hydroplane's Unanimous for, well, since its inception. He was one of the founders, and if you're a button collector or a vintage enthusiast, especially Unlimiteds, Bob is a guy that's been around and done everything you can think of with the Unlimiteds for many years, still affiliated with the museum. And Woodshed Embroidery, Jan Shaw sitting to my left here, scoring this weekend again. All right, I hear War Canoes on the water. You saw them yesterday. You know how fun these are to watch. I would love to have 15 or 20 of these out here. This would be a total zoo. And then I'm gonna pay for a seat and just watch, because it will be a real treat. From my vantage point, I see two right now. I see a third coming. And what we've asked them to do is come out, kind of try and gather up as a group. All right. Well, it looks like we just got the three. We had one that would not. Nope, there is a fourth boat over there. See it coming out from the shadows. And it's a little deceptive at times here. I know in the past I've done this job from up on the tower, and I think maybe next year we need to look at that again. But that's not something to worry about now. It gives you a little better vantage from up there. Those are some throaty old motors. I'm sure they're very old. as I said, these are some old, old engines. And it's great that they're all running. But they're fun to watch, these war canoes. You want to talk about competitive. You got three of them almost side by side there. Did at one point. Just talking a moment ago with Jan Shaw about the good old days back when I ran and running Mod 100. I ran SE and a few other classes early on to help. Normally I had an SE, but I stepped up and stepped down to help other classes just so we had boat count. But when I ran Mod 100, I ran a Super Strangler, which is a 100 cubic inch John Rood or Evan Rood Johnson, however you want to look at it, because they both had that engine. Called a Super Strangler, 8 one-barrel carburetors on the front of that. Put out a lot of power for its size. It was not at all top-heavy, which was really nice. The problem I had was the Mercury's had a little more horsepower. They had about 15 horsepower more than the Mercury or the Evinrude did. And I did not have the 15-17 gear case, which was the intermediate, which you really needed for competition racing. You use a 1-to-1 to run on kilo runs and down at Parker and Havasu, which I had been down to and done, not with my boat, but in other boats. And we used to run modified Le Mans starts, which means everybody sits in their boat at the dock or the beach, normally the beach because there were so many of us. They would shoot the gun or throw the flag, and you would go from the pits and go to the entrance of turn 2. You go straight across the course and then come down, and when you hit the start-finish line, that was the start of your event. And I never, in 3 or 4 years that I ran that class, never once got beat through turn 1, ever. But I couldn't hold them off. Once I got to turn 1, it was over. I could hear the Mercuries coming, and they had straightaway speed on me. Had I had a 15-17, I probably would have been much more competitive. But it's okay. I'm happy with what I did, and I had a lot of fun. Learned a lot of lessons. Worked on a lot of boats. Made a lot of friends that were friends for many, many years, and I don't see hardly any of those folks anymore. Most of them are no longer with us. But it was a great time and a great family. It was a great time to race. And I had 3 different boats during that time. I had a Losfar, which was built by one of the Losfar brothers out of Mukilteo, Washington. Big, heavy tub that I ran an SE with an Evinrude on it. Ran that, I think, 2 weekends and sold the boat. Somebody wanted the engine, so I said, here you go, take it. They took boat, motor, and trailer, and I went off in another direction. By then I had bought a Scotty Craft from the late Dick Sharp, but a boat that's called, what would be called a packer boat. And that's because it had a full bow in it, not pickle fork. That's what packer boats were. This was pickle forked. In fact, I think Dave Carlson was the one that pickle forked it because it had so much lift in it that it tended to blow over quite a bit. And Billy Shoemaker was working with Dick Sharp at that time. We have a pass for second and third. Somebody snuck inside there and got the lead. See if they can hold it. As you can hear the one boat. One boat's really going, the other one's struggling a little bit.
Return to home.
But I went from the Lost Far into the Scotty Craft and really got a lot of education there. First weekend was at Silver Lake many years ago when Radio 123 was our sponsor, and we raced Saturday only, and that was my second weekend in it. And I ran 8 heats of racing that day. I think I ran Sport E, SI or SG, something like that. I'd stepped up, and then both Mod 100 and SST 100, and that was interesting. You get a real workout. Our canoes going back, and they will, from what I'm overhearing, they're going to either refuel or not have to refuel, and they're going to come back out again. So I will check on that. And I ran that boat for, I think, the rest of the season. And then over the winter, Bill Kelly, who used to have a company called Evergreen Marine in Juanita, Washington, had a boat that he ran as a Sport E, and it was a small boat, very, very shallow.
Return to home.
Very light, and not very long, but it was doable because tunnel boats, they don't have sponsons. You know, the sponsons are full length. So we took that boat. It came up to my place, and I lengthened it and made it a 16-footer. Small for what a lot of the boats were at that time, but it was lightning fast. A little scary. There wasn't a whole lot of boat around you at all, like being out in one of these little outboards out here with that 100 cubic inch Evinrude on the back. But I had a lot of fun for the next few years with that, and then I retired, sold everything, and continued on with life, and was involved in a lot of different racing off and on for many years. Did some nostalgia drag racing, street rods. Then my son and I got back into this. I had a friend stop by a job site one day and ask if I was going to the races down in Issaquah, which is down the hill from where we were. Went down the next day, and 15 minutes later I was involved with vintage. So you know, it's one of those things, you go full circle, and I've been back for many years now. Had the good fortune to be involved in a lot of things, be in leadership, do a lot of boat work, which I do now that I'm retired from the masonry field. I do that day in and day out, and Don Kelson and I were I don't want to say competition, but we were the two that were doing most of the work, and Don passed away a number of years ago now, and I've kind of taken on that task, and actually have worked on 5 different Kelson projects in the last year now, with the largest of those being the U-Bet, a boat that was originally built by and for Scott Pierce. Scotty didn't pay the boat off, and Don repossessed it, and then I'm not sure how long it sat, and then Mike Ekert saw the boat, and Dave Bilwalk and Paul Casera were involved. They put a twin turbo big block in it, turbocharged engine, made a bunch of changes. They put some openings in the bottom of the boat, like what Pay and Pack was doing at the time, and some others, with the we call it the towel bar out front, and then the spar that runs across at the end of the actual tunnel, and then little winglets. And that boat came out very, very, very fast, but not consistent, and with turbochargers and technology at that point had terrible lag. And then when you got done at the end of the straightaway, you didn't just pull your foot out and decelerate like you do in a carburetor or injected boat, or even a blower boat. You have to pull your foot out, and it's like a turbine, and it just keeps on sailing until you can slow it down a bit. And back then we didn't have the skid fins we have today, so you couldn't turn the boat that quickly. But I remember one time watching that boat at Alder, and he came off the course, or off the turn, and came down the front chute, and he was hauling the mail, And the next thing I know, he was headed towards Mount Rainier, and he just couldn't get it woed up to get through the turn. But beautiful boat, largest inboard that Don built. The only bigger boat was the replacement for the. I'm trying to remember the. Here comes your work canoes again. Looks like. At least that's what it appeared. Okay, we had somebody come out and make a left-hand turn down there in the far straightaway or far turn, and now going the other direction. I think he might have just been trying to hold off on being in line for others to come out. Thank you, Russ Dodge. Nice job on that start. These are a great show. They're not used to running with us. They do it periodically. Don't remember them being out last year. And if they were, I apologize about that. But I don't remember them being out. But they are fun. So they're not always versed with what our thinking is, and what their thinking is maybe a little different as far as running their boats. But they've been really good to try and work with us, come down this front straightaway and get the flag. And hopefully we can get all three of them together. Whole lot more fun when they're running side by side than when they're strung out, just like the rest of the competition field. Well, a nice start. They were reasonably close together. The one stays quite wide going into the turn. Not sure if he's trying to keep up boat speed or if that's just the line he's chosen. As narrow as they are, we could get like 14 or 50 of them side by side. You know, that'd be good, Russ Dodge, if we got like 14 or 15 out there side by side. That would be good. That would be good. A lot of fun to watch that. That was a good start, too. No, they're playing well out there, and that's all you can ask. And for all of you, when we talk about the show, we had a show yesterday. We watched those SEs, the sportsman entry class. Kip and Travis ran deck to deck for 4 laps. Dead heat. You don't get any closer than that. When you look at the footage of it, the photography, everything that's been done, and it's that close, you got a dead heat. Kip Brown won the national championship by 1 second on elapsed time. That's pretty darn good. We can't ask for any more than that. We've had some other great shows yesterday, but the other side of that is you watch the vintage boats. Vintage boats, that is about a show. That's all it's about. It's not about going fast. It's about grouping up. Here in Region 10, we're allowed to do that because we have the world's best water to run on, race courses that are wide enough to run more than one or two boats wide. And it's simulating what happened back in the day, whether it's the 50s, 60s, 70s, up to the 90s. And now we have capsule boats that can run with us, and we will have more and more of those as time goes on, and some of the boats become obsolete, and people decide they want to run those. The one thing about running a capsule boat, and we always want to stress this, every safety rule that inboard has for those boats, meaning radios, belts, the correct helmet, oxygen systems, dunk tank, which is being put in a simulator, an actual capsule out of a boat, put in a pond and dunked, turned over, try and disorient you a little bit, make you come out. You have to be able to do those things. You have to have a radio person. You have to have an oxygen mask and be strapped in. And all of those things have to be current with APVA. It's a little different animal than just running an open cockpit boat, but that's where we are today. And because so many people have no concept of what the older boats were, they are going to become very popular. I don't think you'll ever replace open cockpit boats in vintage with capsule only, because it's too enjoyable to sit and watch our drivers in the open boats. As you saw yesterday, you'll see my son a lot of times if he's driving Tiger, or sometimes in the Ombre, if he's in the middle, he is orchestrating while he's out there trying to get people to do certain things, and other drivers are doing it as well when they're on the water. But it's about a show for you. And for vintage, that's what it's about. It's to honor and respect our heritage, which is those boats, which are the precursors to these. And if you get a chance to look at some of them over the years, you will see the evolution in those boats to what we race today. And we're proud to do that. I have met some wonderful people, truly wonderful people that have been involved in the sport. You know, don't race anymore, but we're a part of it. And some have donated boats, some have sold boats, helped with pictures. I did the Mr. Wappet here some time ago, and that is a completion of that heat. And a thank you to the tribe and to the folks with their war canoes. We got a black flag on, of course, indicates proceed to the pits. But you know, we've had all kinds of donations. I've 2 years ago now, we received a Jones 266 that is got a lot of history here in the Northwest, and it's an issue. Just got to find a home for it. So if you're interested in boats, come and see me. Check with PNBRA. They know how to get a hold of me. We'd love to have you involved in that. Mike Jones right now has a bunch of boats. Please don't contact him. Talk to Kelly Jones, Gunnar O'Farrell, Bryce Todd. They are the front people for that, the contacts. He's got a bunch of stuff, vintage and competition. There's some neat boats there. A couple I wouldn't mind having, but my stable's a little full right now. And I know what my wife would say if something else showed up. I will not only spend my days in the shop, I will be sleeping in the shop. Not what I really wanted to do. But that is the point when we talk about the show. Our next heat should be 1 liter. I'm not sure where we stand on that right now. But as soon as I have word, we will bring you a countdown. always interesting conversations going on, and some of them are appropriate for public, and other, it's the business that you do. But we've got a short pause here. 1 liters I hear are in the water, and as soon as I hear we're going to get a countdown, we will go with that. Again, let's talk a little bit about our sponsors. Jim Codling and Family, our prime sponsor, wrote a nice check to help do this. Jim's also here as our assistant referee this weekend. Skidfin, KB Marine, DA International, I think it is, WFO Motorsports, Digital Rooster Tails, HARM, which is the Hydroplane and Raceboat Museum in Kent, Chalet Bowl, Bartell's Family Racing, which is also with the BWR Racing Group now as a sponsor. That just transpired in the last week or so. Chris Kenner Racing Specialties, 2B Mobile Specialties, Bob Sr., Hydroplane Pin Extraordinaire there, and Woodshed Embroider, our dear friend Jan Shaw from Spokane, Washington, one of our sponsors as well. If you would like to be a part of our sponsorship group that we use, we'd love to have you. We'd love to promote your business. And for me, as an announcer, the information that I receive helps me. If I have somebody that brings me more information, I'm more than glad to talk about it. So that's up to our sponsors and our leadership group to let me have that, and then I can share with you. But we have some great sponsors. We always ask you to support those businesses. Our last event was in sometimes it's just as entertaining to sit back and listen down here as it is to the race. I do love it. Well, I understand that, Kelsey. I definitely understand. Some are not as fun, and some are totally out of their minds, like our good friend Scott. No. Well, yeah, we all are a little bit with boat racing. You have. It's just like every family has that uncle. We have those. We have the aunts. We have all kinds of wonderful people that are involved in this, and life can be really good. Something on a personal note that I would like to mention right now. I just heard a comment, and I thought it was directed at me, but it wasn't. For those of you that are involved in racing, you know the name Gordy Gilmer and the Gilmer family. They had a little misfortune yesterday. I don't know what Travis was doing, but somehow he lost a prop and a shaft out there, and with the way this bottom is, that's down there for posterity. But Gordy's in a battle right now. His health is not good. And my thing is, they can use your support. And I don't mean pity. I mean support. Love and compassion. Prayers. I would love to ask everybody to pray for Gordy and for healing. We never know what could happen. I mean, there's miracles that transpire all the time, and I'd love to see that for anybody that's in need. And I don't know everybody in need, but keep them in your thoughts, your prayers. Lend a hand, reach out, shake a hand, give a smile, give that prayer. And we can all use it. We may not understand that or even appreciate it, but I guarantee you it is the way life is. And that is the beauty with this family. And like I say, it's my big, wonderful, dysfunctional family that I chose. They accepted me. I'm blessed. And I thank them each and every time I see them for that. And I will as long as I'm able to be here. And I hope that's a whole lot of years to come, because I love torturing people. You know, I hear nice comments, and that's wonderful. We all have a job to do. We all have a place here. And when we all pull together and do everything, and everybody has different gifts. And I know that sounds a little preachy at times. It's not. You might be really good at communicating. You might be an organizer. You know, there are all kinds of different gifts. Some people have a whole bunch of money, and they like to spend money. That's a wonderful thing. I'm not saying you have to. It's just saying those are wonderful things. And when we do those things and we work together, we really flourish. And I appreciate everybody's support. And I pray that everybody continues with that. And for Gordy and the family, we love you all. And we pray for nothing but the absolute best. Well, we're on a bit of a pause right now. See Woody out here surveying the bottom with his boat, looking. I don't know if you're looking for propellers out there or not, my friend. But no, we lost a propeller and a shaft yesterday down in turn 1, and it will be there permanently now. Only way you'd ever find it is you went down there and used a side sonar, and we're able to look for it, because it would not, with the gunk that's in the bottom, and it's at least 8 to 10 feet deep down there. Basically, it's probably peat on the bottom of the lake down there. Never going to find it, and so it's cut your losses and move forward. Build another shaft and find another propeller. And as they say, it's only money. Just listening to radio chatter about what we're doing and all of that, and hopefully I can get you a countdown here shortly. Take a minute and thank all of our volunteers here, our referees, our scorers. We've got 5 ladies that are doing scoring. We have our 2 referees, pit bosses on both sides of the lake, the folks. As we go on through this, I'm going to take myself and I'm going to get up closer with the scorers, because they've got a better handle on the numbers on the